When Wargaming first announced the 2.1.1 update, I was so excited to see that one of my favorite tanks, the WZTD, was getting its own tier 11 added into the game. And to see it have rocket boosters in the trailer, I was pumped. I kept repeating to my friends that this would be the best tier 11 in the game. And after playing it for a while, I can safely say that I was wrong. It's for sure not the best tier 11 in the game, but it honestly comes quite close to being number 1. In this video, I'm actually going to show you exactly how to play the PTZ by explaining my thought process in game and showing you guys the different strengths and weaknesses that this tank has, all while showcasing my journey to 3-marking the PTZ. Before we get into the games, let me quickly explain to you guys exactly how you should play the PTZ. Even though you are a tank destroyer, this doesn't mean you should sit back and snipe all game. Instead, you should brawl with the heavy tanks. The combination of armor and firepower lets you play insanely aggressively against the enemy team. You should use your armor to play in hold down positions or ridges like you would in a heavy. Careful side scraping against AP and APCR as your armor becomes much weaker. Your gun is quite nice from close range. It's got great pen and great alpha. Where it doesn't work very well is when shooting from far away because of the main weakness of the PTZ, the lack of a turret. This makes it hard for you to fight multiple angles at once, since you need to turn your entire tank to face someone. The gun handling is typical of a Chinese tank, meaning that it's terrible. With that being said, you always want to keep the fight right in front of you and try to fully aim your shots. This is where the special ability for the PTZ comes in, the sequential rocket boosters. These don't act like normal boosters do. Instead of helping you speed up and get to positions quicker, these boosters give you increased maneuverability, letting you turn on the spot really quickly. On top of that, you retain the ability to reverse while using your boosters. You get 10 of them per game with 12-second cooldown in between. Again, these aren't really for forward speed. These are more for flexibility. This helps improve the biggest weakness of the tank, and in my opinion, it's a really fitting ability to have on the PTZ. Other than that, the tank gets a good HP pool and great speed. Here's my personal opinion on it. The tank is very forgiving in terms of the gun. With 400 heat pen, a lot of the time you're just gonna go straight through whatever it is you're shooting at. But at the same time, this tank is not very comfortable to play since you don't have a turret and the gun is very inconsistent. Okay, now you should know the basics. Stay close to the opponents. Keep them in front of you. Use your armor to play aggressive and trade your HP with enemies. Use your boosters to maneuver around and get into positions slightly quicker. Now that's all good in theory. Let's see it in practice. So the first game, we're going to be starting off on Karelia, around 28% mark of excellence. On Karelia from south, I always head to the bottom section of the map where most of the HP is located. Since my team has already secured the hill, we can push this bottom section here to get closer to the BZ. The PTZ really shines from up close, since the gun handling is very bad. Your entire playstyle hinges on being aggressive and being very close to the opponents. Now, even though I fired and I'm reloading, I still want to spot the corner. Why? The PTZ that's unlit was last seen at the corner, and since that's the only real threat I have, I want to make sure I don't get a nasty surprise when I re-peek to shoot the T95. Taking advantage of our team holding the hill, I make my way back up to try and decap. We get surprised by the FEs here, trying to push up the hill to contest, but I managed to HE both of them, and by the grace of God, the FE misses my tank entirely. The main threat to our cap is gone. Normally, I would just turn around and help out my rat on the bottom, but since my team is still pushing the one line, there's a high chance of them spotting something out in the open. We get a super sad miss there on the E4, and my rat dies shortly after. And since there's 4 people at the corner and my FE's on reload, they are 100% going to contest the hill. So I have to turn around and catch them off guard. The Ares arriving on the hill is the worst outcome that could happen. The PTZ is terrible at dealing with multiple targets at once, especially from different angles since you don't have a turret. We inevitably end up falling, but finish the game on 11,000 damage. Nice team spread, by the way. Game 2 on Mannerheim line. We are sitting at 43% mark of excellence here. We drive off to the standard heavy side position. I recommend staying higher up where I am at the start on this map, because if you're fast, you can get a couple shots in on the cross like this. Since it's relatively safe to do so, I push in to get closer to the heavies. Once again, this tank works really well if you're right in front of someone instead of staying further back. The KR1s are both distracted, so I can actually overpeak here without taking any damage in return. We already have 6.8k damage and the game is far from over. My main goal here is going to be pushing their base to get side shots on everyone who's still camping. To get there, I first need to take care of this KR1 still in front of me. Killing the Sturb gets us to 9.9k damage. If I want to get another shot, I need to trade the last bit of HP that I have. With the final shot heading the imbattable, we managed to reach 10.6k damage this game. Game 3 starting off on mines. We're sitting at about 84% mark of excellence. Let's head to the rock position in mid to shoot the people contesting the hill. Since nobody's going up the hill, we shift our attention over to the IS-7, who doesn't seem like he's gonna stop. You want to use your boosters not so much to accelerate, but more so to peek around corners quickly like I do here to the rat. And since you can still reverse while boosting, you can come back into cover quickly as well. The Ares doesn't seem to notice us aiming at him, and we end up picking up a blind shot on him here. The 400 heat pen shines through here as we go straight through the T-03's turret. Playing the rock though, you have to be careful from the coast since you're a super easy target. The Ares 90C finally gets lit at the rock on coast, and we manage to give him one, which ends up making him retreat. With nobody to shoot me from coast now, I can safely overpeak towards the Contriver and the T-803. Taking a quick glance at the minimap now, I realize that the bulk of their HP is on the other side, so I end up rotating over towards the hill. Here, it's very important to make sure that we keep the hill safe. We rotate over to finish the Contriver who's on reload. Since the hill is safe with all my teammates on it, I have to drop and get closer to pick up the rest of their team's HP. With the PTZ now dead, I have the opportunity to push to the M60 and give him a shot, securing 10,000 visible damage. I make a split-second decision here to turn my attention to the FV who's full HP instead of the mouse on 160 HP to get even more damage. We achieved the second mark of excellence this game, and on the way, managed to end up with nearly 12,000 damage. Game 4 is on Karelia once again, but from the other side. We're sitting at 89% mark of excellence. This game was absolutely incredible, and I managed to deal 10,000 damage from a single position. We head over to the rock to snipe the people either going up the hill or trying to play the corner. Now, I wouldn't recommend anyone to sit back and snipe in the PTZ like I do here all game, unless there's a very specific scenario. The enemy team is pushing you from a single angle. With the PTZ lacking a turret, it's super hard to snipe in it because you always have to turn your entire tank to aim at someone, causing your bloom and your aim time to go crazy. But if the enemy team pushes like they do here, you're gonna be fine since you don't have to turn much to aim at them, resulting in you being able to fully aim every shot you take. Here's a pro tip on the PTZ. Your boosters pivot on whichever track you're using. It lets you dodge shots like this, but it also lets you peek around corners super quickly. Now obviously, since my team fell apart in front of me, there was no chance of me holding back the push by myself, so I end up dying as well, but I managed to farm an insane amount in a really short game. Game 5 on Overlord. We're at 94.98% mark of excellence. Typically, I would start at the top position where my Dravik is, but since the IS-7 is in the open, I rotate over to get a quick shot on him. My paid actor finally arrives and gives us a nice free shot. Realizing now that my team has won the bottom super hard, I cross over to the other ridge to get shots on the tanks trying to retreat. As per his contract, my second paid actor turns around completely to give me a free shot. Their team is falling apart rapidly. The only damage that I can get now is going to be on the BZ, and thankfully he isn't peeking into my team at all, which lets me get a full shot of damage on him, securing my third mark of excellence. Now I know my third mark game wasn't very eventful, but I still had to feature it.